Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Random Spirits. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone that's tuning in, listening in, is doing good. Today is a special episode. I am collabing with one of my great friends, and we will be talking about the mother wound. This is my first collab. I am so excited. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Bologna!
Cynthia, let's work and do your intro.
I already did it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, it's fine. Welcome, everyone. This is my amazing friend, Ray of Sun, Bologna.
I'm so excited to be on. Can you hear me?
Yes, girl, I can hear you.
Okay.
Why was it kicking you out?
Because I think I was using the app and not clicking the link in the not clicking the thing outside of the app, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well, I'm so excited today. We are going to be talking about the mother wound, mommy issues. I love it.
Yes, mommy issues, and yeah, that's a good topic. Everybody has mommy issues, you know, growing up. If you grown, if you've been around, if you, if your mother is like me and Cynthia's mother, you know.
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to go on, because I'm a Virgo, I have my notes here. I just wanted to go on and see if you like can give your definition of the mother wound.
My definition of mother wound.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
I know definition of the mother wound. Okay. Um, which means there's a blockage. I
Mm-hmm.
look at it as a blockage. You know.
Yup, yup, a blockage because of the fact that, you know, like I guess my definition would be there's something that your mother I don't want to say was supposed to do and didn't give you, right? Because of the trauma, that she had. Um but I wrote down the Google's definition. The mother wound is the cultural trauma that is carried by a mother, along with any dysfunctional coping mechanisms that have been used to process that pain and inherited by her children. And the thing is that it's not only, women that can have a mother wound, it's men as well, right?
Right.
Yep. So do you wanna go on, like when did you like discover that you had your mother wound, Felonia?
Well, I didn't need, but I think it was when I started my spiritual journey. You know, when but even before we start our spiritual journey and start to heal, we treat our traumas like war paint, like badges of honor, not knowing
Mm-hmm.
that we need to heal from it. So I discovered I had a mother wound when went in with when I looked within and saw my inner child was still hurting, and wanted her attention.
Mm. Yeah, that's some deep stuff. Ooh. Do you want to share a little bit about like what your mother wound looks like?
Well, I
If you're comfortable with it, you don't need to, girl.
I'll share. I'll share. I'm. It's gonna be therapeutic, cathartic, whatever.
Yes, let it out. Let it out.
So my mother won't look like. First of all, I'll tell you what I felt as a child. I didn't feel loved, and if it was love, it wasn't. It was toxic love. It wasn't agape love. It was toxic love, and it was love with conditions.
Mm.
It wasn't love without conditions. It wasn't agape love, which we talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't feel understood, and I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel safe. And normally, when people say you didn't feel safe, it's like nobody touched me, nobody raped me or anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel safe enough to. I just didn't have a safe space.
Was your mother not emotionally available?
No, she was not emotionally available.
I feel you, girl. Same.
And I feel like my grandmother wasn't emotionally available, and for that, I had a grandmother wound. I'll tell a story. Um, we were living with my grandmother and my grandfather, which I call him Daddy,
Mhm.
because my father passed away when I was 9.
I'm sorry, Felonia.
This okay, because he's one of my spirit guides, but I think he ascended, but
Mhm.
he was one of my spirit guides. Um, we was living with our grandmother for 3 years. You know, and she was. It didn't come to the point of physical abuse, but it could
Mhm.
have gotten there. But it was just mental and emotional abuse,
Yeah.
and I felt that from my mother as well. Because my mother was in prison writing bad checks at the time, and we had nowhere to go, so we had to move in with uh, our grandmother, and my grandfather was still alive at the time, and
Mhm.
he provided that balance, and I feel sorry for those who never had someone like that, who never had a balance, never had someone to love them unconditionally. So that's why I name him. That's why I'm dedicating the series to him, and he's also one of the characters in my series.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but he provided that balance, and just when he died from a stroke. Well, I don't want to say he died. He passed on.
Mhm.
Um, it was worse. I didn't have a balance. It was just my grandmother, and she was you know and she
Yeah.
was saying I gotta get rid of this dead weight, talking about me and my brother and my sister, and she was dealing with her father. She was taking care of her father at the time, so I know it was stressful for her.
Mhm.
It was just a bad situation. It was just a tumultuous situation, is what I would call it. And when I got out of that, I hated my grandmother. I hated her. It was only till I started to heal, till I understood what she went through as a child.
Yes. That's the difficult part, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I understood her trauma, and I think one time my mother wanted me to go see her, and I should have said no, but I went anyway. That was when I was a people pleaser.
Yes.
And then again, it was horrible. The visit was horrible. You know, she wasn't emotionally available as well. You know, the visit was horrible. I remember crying on the bus. I took a bus to go back home, and I was crying on the bus.
How old were you? Do you remember?
I want to say like maybe 20, maybe or maybe older than that.
Wow, Felonia.
Yeah, and then And then, yeah, but you have to understand your parents' trauma. That's why they, you know, when you understand your parents' trauma and the story, you will understand yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, you're in the child is them.
Mhm.
You know, and I feel like my mother's in the child is still hurting. And the fact that she had to take care of everybody in her household, you know,
Mhm.
because she was the oldest. You know, she
Mhm.
never got attention.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yep, that's rough. That's one of the things that I found very difficult, to go on and, take in the fact that, like, our parents did what they could. Like, they did what they knew, right? They did
Right.
what they knew. Yeah. With my mom was emotionally unavailable. It's a really weird relationship with my mom. And then also, I feel like there's a lot blocked from from growing up and stuff. And I feel like I come from a family that, um, like it's you have my mom and she's the glue of the family, so it's like no one talks bad about her. You know how that is?
Yes, I feel the
Yes.
same way. She's a
Mhm.
glue in the family, and no one talks bad about my mother. I mean,
Yeah.
my sister and I vent. I feel like my sister was,
Yes.
we, yeah, I was closer with my sister than my brother. Cause
Mhm.
no, yeah, it's the oldest
Mhm.
child, right? The oldest child is gonna be like the mother.
Yes. Yep, that's how my sister it's so crazy how much we can relate because like like I said, my mom and dad they renewed their vows last year around this time, and like it was so difficult because the whole family went up to say something nice, and like it was so difficult for me to go on and say anything because during that time I was doing shadow work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, I learned a lot of things, that no one told me. And it was just during that time it was hard. And then like I'm sitting here and people are like, oh, they're like the best couple. And I'm sitting here like, you guys don't see what happens behind closed doors, like it was very difficult. I did end up, going on and, going up there and thanking them, because at the end of the day, regardless of what they did, they always opened me with open arms. It's just it would be nice to normalize, like, it's not that we're talking shit about our moms, it's the fact that there's trauma and like how you say, Felonia, vent, to go on and
Mm-hmm.
just like vent and like it's very therapeutic to go on and like let things out because at the end of the day my mom my mom has like she has favorites that hurts me. I've always like I can relate to you, Flonia. It's like I know that they loved me, but I was like the literal like black sheep of the family. And not only that, I was adopted. And I know that there's trauma with my biological mom. I haven't even opened that wound, Felonia.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
But I
Mm-mm.
feel you, I was the black sheep of the family. I was an outsider, you know. I remember talking to, I think I told you about this. There was a moment I talked to my grandmother and I was telling her something that was true. I forgot what I said because
Mm-hmm.
it was a long time ago. I'm not going to remember.
Yeah.
But and she said, "You're lying." She said, "It's not true. You're lying." And I remember crying in the bathtub later on, saying, "I'm not lying. I'm not lying." Like I didn't have that protect. I didn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't have that love. I didn't have the security. I didn't have that. You know.
No one believed you. That's so crazy. I have the same thing because like for me, it's like my parents are, I guess, what you call baby boomers. And it's like when you sit here and you're like, trying to tell them something, and then, one of the things that my mom always, she used to be like, "Are you calling me a liar?" And like you're pinned in a corner and you're like, "You know what? Fuck it. It's my fault. Whatever it is, even though it has nothing to do with me, it's my fault."
It is her fault.
Right? Just take the blame. That's one of the things in, growing up, which, affected me a lot going on, like, into my adulthood. It's like taking blame for things that have nothing to do with me, because it's like you feel like no one is ever going to believe you. What's the point of talking if no one's going to believe you?
Right. I can relate. I can totally relate. With she had favorites. She used to call me. She used to say, "You're my favorite because we've been through so much." But really, my brother is her favorite because they're the same.
Mm.
And yeah, it would bother me. And yeah, just now, what was you saying after?
No,
I
it's
think I
fine.
have a brain fog.
It's okay, girl. It's okay. No, it's fine. I want to go on and just like mention something that I've learned from this Facebook group. You know that Facebook group I invited you in, the high, I think it's called High Star Tribe or something.
High vibe, I think it is.
Yes, that one. Okay. So, they say your mother is like supposed to be your first best friend or something, and your mother reflects a lot of the friendships that you have. Do you feel like you can relate to that or no?
I can relate to that. I had one friend and I cut ties with her. Like I made amends with she was
Mhm.
okay. I can relate to her. I can relate to that because I had one friend who we met in MySpace back when MySpace was, you know, back when everybody was joining MySpace.
Oh, girl, I miss those days. Oh shoot,
And
I
then
miss
yeah,
those days.
we bonded over writing because I was a screenwriter. I was living mechanically. I was doing things out of habit. Anyway, but I cut ties with her because she would always have that air about her, like, let me take you under my wing because I know more than you or something. She
Oh,
would
I
always
can't
have that
stand
air
people like
about her, and
that.
I'm like,
Mm-mm. I can't. No, Felonia. I can't. When people like think they think they know that they know everything. Mm-mm.
and then she would talk. She talked bad about somebody that we were friends with on Facebook. A long time ago,
Mhm.
about her campaign, like sit down and be humble. Like, no, why she gotta sit down and be humble? Like, that's see, like being humble is being beneath someone. No, we're not
Mm-mm.
beneath anyone. Let her do what she's gonna do. That's her business. Why are you
Mhm.
in her business? And then she influenced me because I was like really influenced by
Yeah.
her. So I wanted to make amends. I wanted to make amends with her, so I messaged her on Instagram to make amends to the person we were talking about
Mhm.
because that's wrong. But I knew what I
Wow.
was gonna say. I like pointing the finger. I feel like my mother points the finger at me for so many things. Yeah, I don't clean up. I need to clean up. I've been a lot lax. And
Mhm.
then she says, just clean up your room and I'll take care of the rest. So do you want me to help? Or do you not want me to help?
What's your mom's sign? Like, when's her birthday?
She's an Aquarius. I don't know her big three
Oh.
though.
Okay. My mom's a Taurus, and my mom's the type of person, like, she'll be like, "Oh, go on and like help me." And I'll be helping her. She'll be like, "No, not like that." And I'm just looking at her like, oh, like, and then she ends up doing it alone. Or like, say like if I'm helping cook, and my mom will sit here and like say like, I don't know, I need to change a diaper, or like, something happens and I have to pause and I tell her just wait, I want to do it. My mom finishes it.
Because she really doesn't want the help. Like, they have to admit that.
They're
And
stubborn.
really don't want the help. Aquarius mother. Aquarius is, I,
They're
I don't,
they're detached. They're detached. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I tell you, no. One of I'm gonna go on and like read some of the signs of how a mother wound would show up. Okay.
Okay.
So you feel guilty about making your own decisions as an adult. I feel like that goes more into like in a meshed relationship. I cannot relate, but I do know that there are like mother wounds where the mother projects and she never had
Mm-hmm.
a childhood, she wasn't able to be a teenager because of whatever reason, and she just like projects on her daughter to be perfect. I can't relate, but um, I know there's that. You have trouble identifying your needs in relationships. You feel guilty for setting boundaries.
Yes,
You,
that
mm-hmm.
one wholeheartedly. And plus, I resonate with that to some sort. She doesn't want me to be perfect, but she wants me to do what, she wants me to do the things that she thinks I should be doing, which I'm
That's
not gonna be.
crazy.
I'm not gonna be controlled anymore.
Yup, I feel you. Yeah, it's that Virgo rising, girl, and
I'm
that
not gonna be
Scorpio
controlled
moon.
anymore. Yeah. And feeling guilty for setting boundaries, like my first time setting boundaries, I felt guilty because I've always been a people pleaser.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go with the Bible. I'm sorry if this hurts people's feelings, but the Bible teaches you how to be a people pleaser. Turn the other cheek, right?
Ooh, Polonia is calling out.
Turn the other cheek.
Yup.
The Bible
Yup.
doesn't teach you how to do things for you. It teaches you how to be a people pleaser. People pleaser. And I
Mhm.
was a people pleaser. And the Bible says, but it's like if you're a good person, you're a people pleaser. No. You're people pleasing to be a good person. It doesn't
Mhm.
make you a good person, that makes you a rogue.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to preach. Heck, I'm always preaching.
You're fine, girl.
But
You're
yeah,
fine.
I felt
Speak.
guilty about setting boundaries. I was like, I don't want this make me sad. I don't want anyone to feel some type of way about me setting boundaries. But I had to pour into me,
Mhm.
to understand that, it's about me.
Yup. You you got to put you first.
Right.
Definitely. I feel like I can't relate to the setting, boundaries. Man, if my family hears this, I just feel like, in my household, like my immediate family, they don't give a fuck. But even then, like I sit here and I said it and I said it and I said it and they don't listen. But like at some point after forever of doing that, they go on and they're like, oh, they like fucking just talk shit or whatever. But um I felt guilty setting boundaries actually with Trey's family because there was a like I will admit there was a lot of projecting on my end.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of projecting. That's, huge for Cynthia to say because, Trey's mom Trey's mom, I hope I don't get emotional. She's amazing. She's amazing. And honestly, it's like I love my mom. I love my mom like to life, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's a lot of I've learned so much from Shemaine, my mother-in-law. Like she taught me how to drive, a lot of the cooking stuff, and it's just like
Oh, I love that. She's your second mother.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
it's kind of like, there's a huge age difference too, but I learned real quick that I was like, projecting, and it's just like my inner child sees Shemaine, and I'm just like, you're my mom, and then I create this toxic, unhealthy relationship to where, she's doing whatever with her kids, and I'm like, but what about me? And I have to snap back into reality. She's not my mom. Like, Cynthia, wake up. but yeah, I will, I'm gonna admit, I will say that. Oh lordy, we are calling ourselves
It's
out.
only normal because you never got that from your mother.
It's so like, one of the things, like, it's crazy having kids, like, shook me up. I had found out this year that, like, I had a mother wound. This whole time I was like, nah, I don't have, a mother wound. And Scarlett and Alea and Sebastian taught me so much, because it's like, to both parents, my parents are amazing, right? Even though
Hmm.
they have their, like, issues, as grandparents, they're amazing. But I'm sitting here and I'm just like, why couldn't you be like that to your own children? Like, you're over here loving on Scarlett and Alea. I never, like, got that. And if I did, I don't remember. you know?
Yeah, I feel like parents, when they become grandparents, this is just my opinion. When they become grandparents, maybe they try to, you know, right their wrongs with their grandchildren.
Probably. It's so funny because, I used to go on and swat their butts. And my dad goes, we've never done that to you. And I'm looking at him like, you act like you did not. You whacked me with the fucking belt. Like, sit down. Like, I never did that to you. Don't hurt them. They're angels. And I'm just looking at him like, are you okay, Dad? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so other ways, shrinking yourself to be loved. I feel like that right there is the loving with
Yes.
conditions. Mhm.
Shrinking yourself to be loved. I remember shrinking myself to be loved, and I felt like I was important, but I wanted to be loved so much that I shrunk myself. I wanted to be loved by my family.
Yep. That's how the people pleaser is born. So then you sit here and you silence, you know, the, one side of you, and then, you accustom yourself to them. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, dismissing your own pain is not that bad. Do you have that?
Dismissing your own pain is not that bad.
Mhm. Dismissing your own pain as it's not that bad. I have that. I was, born in a Mexican household. My parents are a lot older, and um, like I could be on the like the brink of death, and I'll tough it out and be like, it's not that bad.
Yes, I feel that way. It's not that bad. Like, I remember when, yeah, like I remember when I was just saying I'm fine every day and I wasn't fine. I was, I became accustomed to saying I'm fine when I wasn't fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine. And I wanted to make people happy, but not
Mhm.
myself happy. Right? I neglected myself, but I wanted to make others happy.
Yep. I feel that. Do you struggle maintaining relationships with women, like friendships?
Not anymore.
I do. I still do. Like I said, you and Tanisha are the only ones that I talk to every day. Filoni is like, not anymore. I still do. I will admit, it's it's crazy. Like I said, my mom is was emotionally unavailable, I feel, and I'm still trying to figure that out. I find it very difficult to make friends, because of the fact that sometimes I'm just like, I'm too emotional and, I'm very critical of myself. So then I was like, I have issues.
So maybe I might have issues too about that. Because I was like, I don't want any more friends, and then here
Mhm.
you and Tanisha come.
Bologna said no more, and then we create a group chat. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Um, I am not competitive with other women though, and I feel like it's. I feel like there's other women. Sometimes I feel judge me,
Hmm.
and I don't know, like, in that case, again, like, the reason why I don't even bother making friends, aside from you guys, I just I don't want to be judged. I don't want people to compare me or anything. So, you know?
Right, and I compare my ex best friend that I don't talk to anymore because I felt like she was jealous. Um,
Mhm.
I was comparing. I was in competition with her a little bit, but I feel like I was in competition with my sister. You know.
Dang. Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm. Did you have any like eating disorders, depressions, addictions, or anything, or no?
Addiction, big time. I remember it was not until 2014 when
Mhm.
I mean, was it 20 2014? I drank because well, my ooh, we moved into this house. You know, she asked me. I was in my own apartment, in my own space, my own peace. But I'm saying I needed to move into this house.
Mhm.
So we moved into this house, and she like knowing, even though knowing the kind of person she is, I agreed.
Mhm.
I we start. She would start fights with me, and that was when
Wow.
I was in hell. And I'm saying hell and heaven is a state of mind. So my mind said I was in hell,
Mhm.
for years. And she would start with me, and I would drink to be numb. I wanted to feel numb.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Felonia. That's yep.
Yeah, but I would self medicate myself more than once.
Mhm. When did you
And
stop?
I think spirit stopped me. It was like, no, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Pour that out.
Mm.
Pour that liquor out. So I poured it
Mhm.
out. And then I guess that's when I listened to Devon Franklin. Because I was like, I can't take this anymore. I can't take living in this box no more. Can't
Mhm.
take being depressed or being wanting to unalive myself. Wanting to be angry all the time. I can't take it. So I listened to Devon Franklin, and then
Mhm.
that started me. Um, then after that, I feel like I was on my spiritual journey,
Mhm.
but I bypassed shadow work. But I went back in because I knew I had to heal, and it can be hard because especially when you've been taught to
Yes,
like bury
suppressed.
everything deep
Mhm.
down. I was taught to bury everything deep down. I was taught to be strong. That crying is a sign of weakness.
So, like, whenever you cried as a child, like, what would happen? Because I know for me, it would be like, go to your room or just stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. That's what was done to me. What was done to you?
But I would I don't remember crying as a child. I mean, I probably did. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Mhm.
But crying later on, I remember going into my room and crying and then wiping my tears. Excuse me. Wiping my tears from my eyes and say I'm not giving them the satisfaction. But
Yeah.
not knowing that I was worried, that I was supposed to cry. I was supposed to feel what I felt.
Mhm.
So that's what I
Yep.
would say. I'm not giving that satisfaction. I'm not being weak. I'm not giving, yeah.
Mhm. Yep. The crazy thing is, like, me and my little sister, we weren't that close, but when we were younger, we were, like, super close, and then as we got into, like, teenager, my sister, unfortunately, she went down a dark path of, like, drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, but I remember, like, it just shows how crazy it is, like, my whole family, like, say, like, if something happens and, like, you're in tears, we have this way, and this is like my older sister, my younger sister, even my nephew. We have this way of, like, if you're like crying uncontrollably, like we want to be alone, but like say like, I'll let my, sister Crystal or like my nephew Noah come into the room. They'll just sit there and like put their hand on me or just be there for me. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. That like it speaks a lot because it says and it shows that my mom and dad, like, especially my mom, like, she did not teach me how to deal with emotions and it's affected my marriage. Like, when there's, conflict or whatever, I walk away, I run away, right? Like, my parents were very, like private, looking at my mom and dad's marriage, my dad was very dominating and my mom was just kind of there. So I struggled with that a lot, in my marriage with Trey.
Oh, why? Oh, why does Trey, follow you? When you
Uh
walked away, did Trey follow you?
um Sometimes like in the beginning, yes, but now he just kind of like lets me be, but my inner child like is like, why aren't you following me? And then I like blow up and make something else. Like it's like that push and pull back and forth, but um Trey's very, understanding, and I'm learning that like if we get into a heated argument, like I probably have some sort of, I don't know if it's like bipolar or what, because like I'll get into a heated argument. We'll be arguing, and then like I'll have like 5 minutes to cool down, and I'm back. Trey's not like that. Trey's like, I don't know. I don't want to be in the same room as you. Leave me be. I am learning how to just let him be because my inner child's still out. Like, are we done? Are you going to leave me? Like, what's going on? Stuff like that. Because the last time I was back at home, um, when did I go back home? 2021, 2022. My dad lost like two, three of his brothers, and my dad was going through it. And it's so crazy because a lot of the things that my mom did for my dad, like it kind of reflects on what the children do, what I do, what Crystal does, what my sister Yossi does. And it's like my dad will sit there and just like lock himself in the room and like be alone, and my mom won't say anything. And then she'll cook for him, she'll check up on him, and it's like it's just so crazy because that's how I am too, Felonia. So then, I try to, break that. It's very
Mhm.
hard to break that. It's so hard to break those patterns that you have. I'm not emotionally there. So, if Trey's going through it, I'm not going to pick up the cues. I'm going to leave him alone. you know?
Wow. Wow, and I'm glad that I'm learning now. I don't want to be in a relationship with my twin and, you know, not be
Mhm.
there for him. But I applaud you for, going through it and connecting to that side of you.
It's hard. Thank you. It's so hard. Like it's crazy. I sit here and I like tell myself like, the difference is that like my dad will yell at my mom and she'll just, sit there. And like for me, if Trey gets loud, don't play with me because I can get loud too. Like I'm very I tell Trey I'm like I match energies, but
I'm not jealous too. I think that's why me and my twin are together.
Yup.
I'm not jealous too. Don't get me started. Don't get my Leo Mara started.
Oh, Felonia don't play with her. Oh my goodness. Um, Codependency. Do you have like did you have any codependency relationships? That's another sign of um the mother wound. Dude, I had
Yes, let's talk
codependency.
about
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
Yes, I had a codependency with my mother. I was in a car accident when I was
Mm.
4 months old.
Mhm.
Before they had seatbelts, because this was 1976.
Mhm.
And, we were going, she was showing me off to one of her friends. Yeah, I was in the passenger seat, and, one woman was driving back to the back of us, and then a drunk driver, like, hit us, and then, and hit the other woman. No, we hit the other woman because the drunk driver hit us, so it was like a collision. And then my head went through the steering wheel.
Wow.
Yeah. And it swelled up, and I guess I was in a coma for a week or something. And I had eye surgeries. I took medication to go through pu- go through puberty because I wasn't able to go through puberty organically.
Mhm.
My pituitary gland was affected by the accident. So I depended on my mother, not knowing that I could depend on myself. You
Mm.
know, and she thought in her mind that I'm gonna, have to take care of her forever.
Wow.
So I depended on her, because I didn't have that self awareness. I didn't have that self assurance. I think it's called
Yes. Mhm.
self assurance to depend on myself. So I depend on her for a lot, for to take me places, for her, just a lot, just a lot
Mhm.
of things, and
Wow.
she would. I was neglecting myself, which I didn't even know I was neglecting myself, but I was. I was like they would call my, they would say I'm disabled. They would say I have a condition with my condition, and I would believe them. That's why I would depend on my mother, and I feel like that's what she wanted me to depend on her. But it's like I gotta depend on myself.
Mhm.
I don't know what she expected this to be. Like I would be in a wheelchair or something, but I'm not.
Mhm.
And she hasn't forgiven herself for that accident till this day. So,
That's a lot to hold on to.
yeah.
Wow. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I never
Uh,
had codependency with my mom. I don't think I've ever, but I think the fact because I do have abandonment issues in certain relationships. I have well, I used to be. I'm not anymore, but I used to be codependent. I used to, go above and beyond,
mm,
and it took me a while to understand because it's like I'm projecting and I'm giving you everything and I'm doing everything for you. Why aren't you doing it back for me? Because if you
right,
don't
and
do
that,
it,
right, right,
yep,
right, right. And
mhm,
that leads me to I was codependent on my twin when I met my twin, which we talking
wow,
about the mother wound, but I met my twin online, and then we built up a rapport. I initiated, though he didn't DM me first. And then I was codependent on him, like emotionally.
Oh, yup. Those are hard to break, okay?
Yeah, emotionally codependent on him, emotionally. Um, because I
Mhm.
didn't have that, you know.
See, but it does, like, it comes from the mother wound, right? Because the
Yeah,
fact that your mother was not emotionally there, regardless of the gender of the person, even if, it's like, a significant other or whatever, if they are giving you something that you never had growing up, you were gonna latch on to that and you were not gonna let go.
I did latch on to him, and I didn't let go.
Mhm.
Like even when we had an argument on online, I would recreate. I would go and come back, go and come back. He needs me, and blah blah
Girl, you
blah.
are toxic. No, I'm kidding. I love you,
I
Flavia.
would go and come back, go and come back. I would create fan accounts because he was a singer back then.
Mhm.
Um, so I would recreate fan accounts, Team DDB, LVL, and Team DDB, whatever. Because that was his fan. I mean, that was his name of his fan club, Team
Mhm.
DDB.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wouldn't let go, and I was convincing myself I was helping him. I did want to help him because I loved him.
Mhm.
You know, I was emotionally dependent on someone, and at the time I was experiencing something that I never experienced before.
And it feels so good when, it's happening, right? Even though I know people on the outside, if there is, they're probably like, like, that's not right. Like, because I feel like in that case, regardless of what other people say, unless you're enlightened and, you're self aware, like, and you notice the wounds that you have, like, the person that is going through it needs to realize that. You can say that 1,000 times, and the next thing you know, like, you cut someone off and then you continue with your codependency, right?
Right. And I would,
Mhm.
the most thing I would, yeah, I was codependent because I never had that emotional security. Maybe I had that with my grandfather, but I didn't have that with my mother.
Well, yeah, he passed too, which I'm sorry about that,
Yeah.
Felonia.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. No, was your mom controlling?
Yeah, she still is controlling, but I mean, she keeps trying. She keeps trying to beat the dead horse, but I keep telling her, you ain't gonna control me. But that's her motive. That's her MO, beating the dead horse. She loves beating the dead horse.
So when you were a child, and if she was controlling, like, how did that affect your relationship with her being
It
controlling?
affected it because I thought we had a great relationship,
Mhm.
but it wasn't good. I mean, we had an okay relationship. Like I said, we would be in the pink room in my grandmother's house, and there would be a pink room, and it would be pink, and we, there was one room where we had, there was one room that we all, you know, slept together, slept in.
Mhm.
But my brother would be sleeping in there would be a door at the
Mhm.
end of the pink room, and then I forgot what they called it, but anyway, me and my sister and my mother would sleep in the pink room, and I would lay on. We would watch movies. I would lay on her chest, and she would play my hair. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
looked. Yeah, I looked. I think our relationship changed when she tried to control me. Yeah, and
Yeah,
she wanted to
because
control me.
when you have a controlling parent, mother or father, at least for me, girl, I was rebellious, okay? And I still kind of have it to me to this day. I'm trying to fix it. If you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna do it.
It's so
If you
crazy because my mother says the same way. You rebel. It's not rebelling. I'm choosing me. I'm not choosing
right?
you.
Right?
Right.
It's like, growing up to me, right? Like a lot of the times I would like call something out or I would express my opinion and it's like, well, Cynthia's rude. Cynthia's rude all the time. And it's like, Cynthia talks back, she's disrespectful. And one of the things that I've learned is like, as a child, I should have been given respect too. It's not just given to the adult. You got to respect both of them. It's one of the things that I've learned and I'm doing
Right.
with raising my girls, right? They can sit here
Right.
they can sit here and they can speak their mind. Once they get a little out of control, I'm not going to, pop off, but I'm going to be like, "Hey, watch the tone in your voice because you're going a little sideways here." But you have to show people respect, and this is going for children and adults.
Yes, and you are an amazing mother, Cynthia.
Thank you. Thank you. So
And I love that video that you put, like apologizing to your kids and
yes, normalizing
treating them
apologizing.
as little humans. They never treated us as little humans. They didn't acknowledge us as humans. That's what it was.
I make mistakes too. I honestly do. Like a lot of what you know I have daddy issues. That's going to be the next episode. But a lot of the things that my parents did, I do. I'll sit here and I'll yell at the girls. It just comes. It's all I know. So then after doing that, I have to collect myself and I'll look at the. I am so sorry that I yelled at you, and they go, it's okay. It's so crazy how forgiving children are,
Yes.
you know?
And I'm glad that you apologize to your kids. I'm gonna apologize to my kids, the
Yup.
kids.
Mhm.
And it's about seeing your child as a human because your child is a human. It's a little human. It's not your toy. It's not your puppet. It's a little human with its own choices, you know, its own choices.
Yup. Yep, it's difficult. The last question that I have for you, Felonia, the very last
Mhm.
question. Okay. Do you know how your mother's relationship was with her mom? And what did you learn about like how your mom mothered you with that?
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's a good one.
girl. Give me the tea. Give me the tea, girl.
How my mothered me. Okay, my mother's relationship with my mother was toxic.
Ooh.
My mother was toxic as well. She was schizoaffective. Um, I remember she would do chores. She would beat her. There was a time my mother
Mm.
told me that my grandmother would beat her, like beat her seriously, and then
Mm-mm.
she would cry about saying, "I'm never touching you again." Like it would be so bad. But anyway, she would take care of everyone else in the family. She had chores, and she probably was one. She's never beaten us. No,
Mhm.
she has beaten me when I was a
Mhm.
child.
Mhm.
But her relationship with me, how she has mothered me, it's not the same. It's not the same as her mother.
Mhm.
How her mother mothered her, but it's kind of the same. It's like how my grandfather. It's kind of like she's my grandfather and my grandmother, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But
Mm.
she's toxic, but she also was not gonna, um, be as toxic as my mother. as toxic as my mother was.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yep. Wow. Hmm. That like I envy I envy people that like, like you. I need to work on my jealousy because they say that the people that you're jealous of, um, they have something you don't. And absolutely, like I don't know how the relationship was with my mom and my grandma. I had to get that, Felonia. I'm pretty sure I told you and Tanisha, I had to get it through meditation. Spirit showed me the relationship between my mom and my grandma. I asked my mom, right? I asked her, and she seemed kind of standoffish about it. And I wish that my mom was like more open about, certain stuff. I know that my mom and
Mm-hmm.
dad have told me like they had a really rough, childhood. They grew up in Mexico, bad conditions, whatever. But, you know, going on to Shemaine, my mother in law, she was very open, about that. And um that helps a lot. I hope that I can go on. Well, no, I will. Once, Scarlett and Alea, get older, and, any questions, and if I can answer them, right? I want
Mm-hmm.
to go on and I want to tell them, how was my relationship with your grandmother? This is how it was, you know? Um, but
Right.
yeah, I do envy, the people that have the parents that are willing to, talk about, their traumas and stuff like that. Because I don't have that. My parents won't
Oh,
budge.
well, my mother, I didn't have that conversation with my mother, but I just go by what, I was shown.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Yep, that relationship, it's it's so important to see. And again, going back, one of the very difficult things is that you need to realize, especially with like mothers that are um just like shitty and toxic. Like, you like at the end of the day, they're your mom, and even if you're in contact with them or not, I do feel that you need to heal from them. Does that mean to get back in contact? No. Mm-mm.
No, but you need to hear from them so that you can have a healthier relationship with yourself, with you and your inner
Yes.
child. Yes.
Yes. So, Felonia, the very last thing, and then we're gonna wrap this episode up. Like, do you know of ways to go on and heal the mother wound?
Do I know of ways to go on and have the mother wound? I did a mother wound meditation on YouTube. There's mother wound
Mm-hmm.
meditations on YouTube.
Those
I
help.
also feel like going on and imagining your inner child. I have done this, like closing my eyes and imagine being with her, like playing in her hair, um, hugging her, telling
Mm-hmm.
her you were safe with me.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that was the biggest thing. I didn't feel safe. You were safe with me. You were
Mm-hmm.
safe with me.
Yep, having that nurturing, um, you know, just because the mother is supposed to nurture, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like sometimes they don't, you got to cut your mom some slack and you have to shift your perspective. I know it's so hard because in the beginning of my journey, I'm like, why should I shift my perspective when the shit that she did was wrong? But it's like at the end of the day, yes, it's wrong, but in order to find that peace and that happiness, and to heal that wound, you need to forgive. You need to forgive.
Yes.
In order to forgive, you need to go on and, like be able to see my mom only did what she knew.
Yes. And forgiveness is so hard. Like it took
Oh,
me a
yeah.
long time to forgive my grandmother. Like I hated her. And but as soon
That's
as I did my shadow work, I was like, she went through a lot. She suffered a lot. She never felt safe either. She was abused by her father.
mhm.
Um, she ran away when she was young.
Mhm.
So she was doing what she was taught. So
That's crazy. Going on
and
and mhm.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No, no,
interrupt.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Go, 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 girl. You're
When
fine.
I was, as soon as I understood, like when I hated her, I wiped out all the good memories of her. I wiped them out. I wiped them out.
Ooh.
That's what we do, right? We shut down all the good memories when we hate somebody.
That's powerful and that's true. Mhm.
And
Yep.
when I started to forgive, when I went within, did my inner work, then I remembered the good memories. Like I had good memories with her, and she taught me she had good qualities, like loyalty. She was loyal,
Mhm.
so.
Yep, it's difficult. Like I can relate. Thank you for saying that. Wow, I can relate to that so much because remember when I asked you and Tanisha about what your favorite memory was or whatever with your mother?
Hmm.
I couldn't think of anything. And I feel like it's because of the fact that I had just opened that wound and I was so angry with a lot of, some of the things that my mom's, done or whatever. And I was so angry, but just, recently I've found, some things that I can sit here and say like are good things that my mom has taught me because that pain and that trauma, I feel like it's so strong and it over like shadows the happiness, right? Because
Hmm.
your inner child's like, no, she caused so much pain. No, there's no happiness here, but you know, there is happiness. Another way that I've learned, and I feel like this is, for people, um, I guess, for anyone, and I've told you this, like, uh, what did I say? Depersonalizing. So calling your parents by or your mom by her actual name. It's supposed
Yes,
to.
and
Yep. It's
yeah,
supposed
and
to
I've been
help.
saying Barbara Calloway ever since Barbara Calloway.
I know you have. Oh my god. It helps you like take away and like see them as a person, right? It helps you
Hmm.
see them as a person because, you know, in whatever form you see them, like, oh no, like that's my mom, or like, whatever, like go on and like take that away. I do, call my mom by her name every now and then. She doesn't like it, but I'm just sitting here like, girl, you put me through so much, mom.
Right.
Oh shit. You put
What's
me
her
through so
name?
much. Maria.
Maria. Okay.
And that's my middle name. Yeah, whenever I and then my dad I call him by his name Tomas. Um yeah. Yeah, our
Okay.
relationship is a little bit it's eh. I
Yeah.
still gotta go on and heal that mother wound. But are there any other ways? Ooh, something that Felonia called me out on last week. She says, Cynthia, write a letter to your mother. Remember that?
Yes, that's another way to heal from the mother wound. Write a letter to your mother. Write a letter to your grandmother. Don't read it back to yourself and burn it. Release it to the universe.
Yeah, release it to the universe. You can keep it, whatever. Because again, I feel like if you come from a place like me and Felonia, where your mom is the glue of the family, and people don't talk bad about her, and you sit here and like you vent, and they shame you for that. Like a safe way and a safe space to go on and do that is to go on and write your stuff out, let it go. And crying is not a sign of weakness. It's crazy. um because you, me, and Tanisha have the same thing of like when we're growing up and being strong. It's crazy how our mothers have that masculine trait,
Hmm.
right? It's the, yeah, we're women, but suppress it. Get over it. Keep
Right.
going.
Suck it up. Suck it up.
Yup. That's some deep shit.
It is deep. I was in my masculine energy for years before I
Yup.
became my feminine energy. And it's
Same here.
crazy how, well, you're going to talk about the father wound next time, but
Yes.
yeah, boys are taught to suck it up and not feel their feelings. And when they don't feel their feelings, they become angry.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're called, a pussy or like whatever. But also I feel like, there are women like, like us that it's like I can't relate to like a gender, level, but in an emotional level, yes, because,
Hmm.
crying, it's like, even though Felonia, you've heard me cry so many times.
Yes.
You and Tanisha are great. Oh my gosh, I love you girls, but yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
but, oh, go ahead.
No, you could go.
Okay. Now it's just like I want there to be more grown men instead of grown males. But you're gonna talk about this later in the father one.
Yes. I want to do an episode on
There,
that, to have a
yes, because there
to have a
are a lot of
man.
grown males and their fathers or father figures, whoever they're around, are telling them to suck it up and not feel their emotions. You have to feel your feelings.
We're human. We're given this experience on this planet for a reason. We
Hmm.
have emotions for a reason, Go on and, express those in whatever way. I am waiting. I told Trey, like, date night, I want to go to a rage room. I want to fuck shit up. Let's go.
Yes, right room. Yes.
I just need someone to watch these kids. But yes, girl, rage
Now
room.
maybe I can go with you.
Right? Girl, let me call Tanisha. We all can go to the rage room and just, like, anger is one of the most difficult emotions to go on and, deal with. I know in my mother wound, I have like resentment towards my biological mother that, I feel like at some point in this life I'm gonna have to go on and dig up. I'm not ready yet. And that's another thing too, to anyone listening. If you're not ready, it's okay. You can't heal all at once.
Right, you gotta do it on your own time. It's on your own time.
Yep, that's one of the things that I've learned because, I can sit here and say I got every wound in the book, okay? The mother wound, the father wound, the sister wound.
The
Oh my
father
goodness.
wound. I don't have a father wound. I thought I had a father wound. Like I would be mad. Like and
Well, no. I feel like you do have a father wound, Felonia, but like the absence of your father, right?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that later, girl.
The absence of my father. Yeah. Because I used to say all the time when I was younger, I wish that. Well, I didn't tell her that. I didn't tell Barbara Calloway that.
Mhm.
But I would say, like, I wish, my, I wish JB was here. That's what he wanted us to call him. He didn't want us to call him father or dad.
Oh wow.
So I would say, I wish JB was here instead of my mother.
Ooh, Felonia. Wow.
I know that's sad to say, but
I mean, it's your feeling. I'm a big advocate for going on and saying what it is that you feel. And don't be sorry for that. Don't
okay.
ever apologize, girl. Don't ever apologize. But this was an amazing episode. Girl, I am so happy that you came on. That was a lot to unpack um on the mother wound. And I know that you and I can continue talking about it.
And maybe I should be on a father wound so I can unpack my father wound.
Girl, don't yuck. You know what? I'll do that. I'm gonna have Tanisha on. I'll probably do a two-parter. I'll have Tanisha and then I'll have you. I wanted to do Trey, but Trey works every day, and yeah, he's a busy man.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for being on here. That is it for this episode. Do you want to go on and um, say what it is that you do?
Yes, and thank you for having me, Cynthia.
Yes,
I'm so
girl.
excited because I
I
had you
know.
on my podcast. Now you're having me, so I'm so honored. And my name is Ray of Sun. I go by Felonia. That was my name. That's my name in the past life, in one of my past lives. I am a psychic medium. I am a healer. I am a life coach.
She
I'm
is
gonna
a
get my.
light worker. A
I'm
light
gonna.
worker. Yup.
Yes, I'm gonna get my certification if I need to. I'm working on, booking life coaching sessions whenever there's time.
Mhm.
And I have a podcast. My podcast is called Healing with Life Coach Ray. If y'all want to listen in, y'all can listen in. Feel free.
I'm gonna go on and put all her links where you can find her, her Instagram, everything. Felonia is, an amazing soul. She's an amazing, person. Go on and book a reading with her. Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, book a reading because spirit is like no more free unless I feel called. Or you
Yes.
can come into my lives and I give you a free reading if I feel called. But yes, feel free to follow me. Feel free to listen into my podcast. I love you, Cynthia. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you, Felonia. Thank you. I'm so glad we met.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad we met too.
Yes. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.